This is 5 Minute Feng Shui, episode 33, Feng Shui Artwork, How Images Affect Your Life. Welcome to the 5 Minute Feng Shui podcast, where each week I talk about how to move energy and make money. You'll learn how to create a prosperous home and an abundant life using classical Chinese Feng Shui. I'm your host, Katie Weber, publisher of the Red Lotus Letter, Feng Shui Easing for Wealth. Each week, I'll cover Feng Shui topics that can help you improve your life, share inspiring stories, and always end with 3 easy-to-implement Feng Shui tips that you can put to work right away, and usually in about 5 minutes. Now let's get started on the 5 minutes that could change your life. Today is a really interesting episode of 5 Minute Feng Shui, in my opinion, because this is all about how we see and what we see in our homes and how that influences our lives. I like to say when it comes to Feng Shui, what you see is what you get a lot of times. I know I had a client who talked about how she and her husband had just had struggles in their relationship, like a lot of people, but theirs just seemed to never be resolved. She always felt lonely in the relationship. And she said she started looking around her house and she noticed that she had so many images hung up of a solitary woman, like a woman on a beach looking off into the distance, sort of like a forlorn and isolated and sad kind of look. And she realized then that she needed to change what she was seeing, because what she was literally seeing in her home, she was seeing in her life. And she changed those pictures, and it made a huge difference. You know, I hear these stories all the time because as a Feng Shui consultant, there's so many times that I've seen artwork that brings positive results to my clients' lives, as well as artwork that negatively influences my clients and their happiness, their health, and actually in some cases their life. This has been something that I've paid really close attention to for a number of years, because sometimes when it comes down to the house, it's not so much the way it's arranged or where the bedroom is located, but it's literally what's hanging on the walls. You know, even the placement of artwork has implications on what happens to you in your life and how you view yourself. Like if money is a problem, or if your health suffers, or like my one client who had a lonely marriage. And why is that? Well, because it really is what you see is what you get in life. And it's sort of like if you're driving in a car, they always say that you will drive the car wherever you look. And if you look straight down the road, you drive straight down the road. But if you start looking over at a horse in a field to the right, you might start veering off in that direction. That's because our eyes are so tuned into our hearts. And in fact, the eyes and heart in Feng Shui are connected. So whatever your eye sees, the heart gets. And when I teach my Feng Shui consultant training course, I often repeat this statement over the course of 3 days. Energy flows where the eye goes. So if that energy is positive from an image, a picture, or a painting, the flow is positive. That means the results are positive. But if it's negative, the energy goes that way too. These are ways that just images have affected my clients and their lives, and some of the things that have happened to them as a result of what they've actually had hanging on the walls in their house. One of my favorite private coaching clients often talked about as I mentioned earlier, about those pictures that she saw of a woman in her house, and she never had put it together how unhappy she was in her marriage, and how unhappy the images were that she had of this single melancholy woman that she had in various places around the house. I know, for instance, I had an image in my own home of a Victorian woman pushing a baby carriage. And in that carriage, was a beautiful baby. And what was interesting was I had seen that picture in my early 20s, and I just thought it was the sweetest picture. And the picture in the baby, or the baby in the picture that was represented, ended up looking like my very own son. And so I actually had put that picture up and manifested what I had seen all those years. It's really remarkable when you look at what you have mounted up on your walls and how you manifest that in your own life. Like, for instance, I had a client who suffered from depression. She had no loving relationship. She had weight gain. She was despondent and depressed. And she asked me to come over and do a feng shui consultation. And I was struggling because I was getting near the end of our time for our consultation. And I'm thinking, oh, what am I going to tell her that I've seen in the house that was, the cause for this weight gain, the cause for her depressed outlook. And we had gone through almost the entire house. And finally we got up to her bedroom, she had a 1.5 story house. And so she had the whole second floor was her bedroom. It's a really nice bedroom, really sweet home in one of the sort of revamped, regentrified older neighborhoods, and everything was just so. And we went up there, and I'm looking around the bedroom, and everything looks great again. And I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to tell this woman? And finally, I said, I'm just going to let whatever come to me. And we turned around to go out of her bedroom and to go back downstairs and to talk about some of the things I had seen around the house. And we started down the stairs. And as we did, there was a wall in front of the stairs as we were going down. And on that wall was a picture. It was sort of looked like there's a famous painting by Picasso called The Blue Woman, but it was a painting of a woman, and it was all blue, and the woman was crying, and she was by herself, and it just looked like she had been just sat in a corner and was so depressed and so sad. Now imagine every day this client of mine went out into the world to go about her daily day. The last image that she saw was of a solitary crying woman. Now, wouldn't you feel isolated and depressed? I know I did. Just looking at it, all of a sudden I just had a complete sinking feeling. So I could just imagine how she was feeling as every day she walked down the stairs and looked at that same sad painting. There were other things that were going on in her life as well, like an oversized collection of porcelain animals, which I believe grew along with her weight. But she changed a lot of things in her house. She actually sold the house. She put the collection away, and she took down that awful blue painting, and she started working in a particular craft, a unique craft, kind of like ironworking. And she moved into a new house, and she lost weight and began a brand new life. She was a completely different person from 1 year later. Because from the woman that I met, who was just, it was like she was dragging around this incredible heaviness. And what's even funnier was she had this really sad looking woman in her bedroom, as I mentioned, as you walk down the stairs. And I said, well, what's down here in the basement? And I looked down in the basement. At the very bottom of the basement was a poster of a Chippendales dancer. I said, oh my gosh. I said, you need to put that blue lady down here in the basement and get that guy up in your bedroom. She laughed, but I really made an important point of she wanted love, and she definitely had some lust in there, because this guy was a hunk of burning love, and I think if she just swapped those two out, it would be a whole different scenario. But she did make a change. She did take that painting down and put it away, and it was just amazing to see her change. Now, your health can be impacted by images as well. For instance, I had one client who called me. I do a lot of what I call rescue consultations. I get people who've talked to other feng shui consultants and have told them to put, thousands of pounds of iron weights around, or jugs of water everywhere, or hang a crystal from every door and everyone. It's ridiculous. Some of the crazy stuff, it is just feng shui crazy. So anyhow, this particular woman had a feng shui consultant that charged her $1,000 an hour. It's crazy, but she didn't like what she heard from the consultant, and obviously the payment that she made for it. But what she was upset about is she felt like some of the information really that this consultant had given her really wasn't affecting her life. And she said, can you look over my house again? So I did. And once again, I'm looking around the house, and things are looking okay. Nothing really stuck out at me. But one of the most important areas of your home is your front door. And whatever you have at your front door impacts the energy that comes into your house. Well, I finally saw it. She had this very large painting that her daughter had done for her. The image was painted in white, gray, red, and black. These are all very negative color pairings in feng shui. And they were having a lot of financial problems at the time. And this was a picture of that someone, because her daughter had painted it, she felt like it was really important. Her daughter was building this thriving career. But here's the crazy part, is this picture was of a woman ripping a knife down her chest with her heart exposed, like she was trying to tear it out. It was bloody. It was, if you can imagine, it was like some kind of a, sacrifice that this woman was doing, some sort of, heart carry on her. And it was this bloody, gory looking painting. But she didn't want to part with it. She wouldn't take it down. Now you could, lead someone to feng shui, but you can't make them change the artwork at the front door, It's like the lead a horse to water. And she didn't want to part with it. But there's a saying in Buddhism that all suffering comes from attachment. And this woman was attached to this painting. She felt like she could not part from it. And I told her, there's no absolution that I can give you for, a self-sacrificing, gory image at your front door. And this is where money comes in. This is where opportunity comes in. And both of those were really lacking. Negative images and situations can become magnetic. And what can happen is this woman had a magnetic attraction to this negativity. It's sort of like if someone's being electrocuted, they will be stuck to that electric field, and you have to run into them and hit them really hard to break that field. And it's that way many times with negative items in our homes, and especially for this woman, a negative image. So you have to look at, is this image uplifting you? Is it reinforcing negativity? And can you break your attachment to it? And if you can't do it, have a friend come in and take it away from you. This type of thing happens more than you imagine. And I do think that there are times that people become attached to their problems and they can't let go of things, even when those things are symbolizing something very negative and very deadly. Let's talk about some health problems. A client I had some severe health problems, and she had a picture painted of a man and a woman, and it was supposed to look romantic, I think, and it depicted a couple that shared a bedroom. However, this woman was on her back in this image, and she was blue colored with a man above her that almost looked like he was trying to give her CPR. It was really kind of odd, that it was supposed to look romantic, and it was supposed to have been romantic because this woman had painted it, but to the viewer, it wasn't a romantic image. Like I said, she was a blue woman. So what is blue? It's depression. It's also death. We become blue colored. And this woman had health problems where she had problems with her heart and oxygen, and she did not want to give up this painting because she thought it represented her husband and her. And I don't know how she ended up, if she's still continuing to battle heart problems or not. But this was an image and an instance where, again, it's the negative that someone is very attached to with regard to their what they've been seeing. Again, your eyes and your heart are connected. Now, I also knew a single woman who was, she was in her 40s, early 40s. She hadn't been married. She was kind of despondent about that. And she had a beautiful home. And I was doing a feng shui consultation for her. Now, the one thing I did notice, though, as soon as you walked in the door, there was her dog, and his toys and pillows were everywhere. And he had monogrammed pet bowls. I don't know. We'll call him Bailey. And it said Bailey everywhere. I mean, literally in every room there was something of Bailey's. And when I got up to her bedroom, I looked up over the bed, and she had a big oil painting of, you guessed it, Bailey. And what I told her was, well, you already have a partner. His name is Bailey, and he's presiding over your bed, which is a symbol of a romantic relationship, of a partnered relationship, and a loving human relationship. And having the gilded frame with this large oil painting of Bailey, it really kind of meant that this dog was going to come between the client and whoever her romantic partner might be. And imagine if you were you went into a romantic partner's bedroom and you saw that picture, you'd wonder if you'd ever really fit into the relationship between the two of them. Anyhow, it's really important that we look at where people and pets and images of our family members are located. Like, we don't want to have images of children in the bedroom. That is solely for the parents and only for the couple. Only pictures of the couple should be in a couple's bedroom. And I know that goes against a lot of things. I knew one couple that their marriage ended, and they had a large wall opposite their bed. And I kid you not, every inch of that wall was a picture of the kids in every stage of their life, from their smallest baby pictures all the way up to these giant portraits that were taken of them as they were going through school and so on. And their couple, that couple suffered quite a lot in their marriage, and it eventually ended. And the kids were unhappy as well. This is a very common thing when you look at families. Many times their kids are kind of lording over the parents, and that's an out of balance family. I also worked with a client who had only one child. And this child was very clearly the center of their lives, and kind of like that dog Bailey, you knew that she ruled the roost. So this little kid never really knew that she was part of a family. She was the reason for the family, in their opinion. That's what everything was centered all around this little girl. That to the point that they had a picture of her on a swing, and it was over a fireplace, and it was an oversized painting. And this little girl really ruled the roost. And the parents ended up splitting up. They had marital problems because the mom really wanted to give all this attention to the little girl, and they were a family that was kind of out of whack and out of balance. Another couple I know had pictures of their sons, and it was a really big portrait. I mean, it was like a sofa-sized portrait, and it was over the sofa. And these boys, their image lorded over the entire home. Again, this is an image where it shows that these boys, their image was out of balance with the rest of the residents of the home, and out of balance with their influence. And these boys were, they pretty much sat on the sofa all day long, smoked cigarettes, and didn't want to go to school, and didn't want to get a job. And finally, the mother took the painting down and put a regular picture up over the sofa instead of pictures of the kids, put them away, and started making some changes to get their family back into balance. And sure enough, one of the kids went to school, and one of them went into the military. But they started becoming productive. It's amazing how these images can make such a strong influence on everyone in the household, especially kids. They're very sensitive to images and what's placed in your house. So you want to look closely at that. Any kind of image that's violent, it's dark, it's sad, maybe has ill-colored, they don't give your home or your life the kind of energy that gives you health and a vibrant life and love. You want to use images that are aspirational. So if you dream of owning a sailboat, then get an image of a sailboat. and it will put your eyes on that thing that you want. And it's amazing how setting your eyes on the thing you want is amazing how it can manifest in your life. So I really strongly urge that you always make an effort to put images up of things that you want and that you aspire to. The same is true if you're looking for, if you're single and you're looking for a female partner, let's say. So make sure that there are images of women are around. Or if you're looking for a male partner, you've got images of men around. Many times, single women never have, and who are looking for a man, never have a male energy or male images in the house. It's really important that you do because, well, you want a guy in your house, sort of like that Chippendales dancer that was down in the basement. That one woman who was really depressed. And we need to have. Now, I don't know if you want a Chippendales poster, but maybe you could find something tasteful of that has a male image in it. So these are clients who they literally, their lives reflected, were a reflection of the symbols that they put in their homes. So give your home a really good long look and make sure it portrays what you want in your life or what it is that you want to attract or retain. Even if a picture or a painting is of something negative and you want to hold on to because you painted it or someone you love painted it or gave it to you, just try taking it down and putting it in a closet or storage and just see what happens. It's amazing what can happen in your life when you set your sights higher and on something that's very positive. All right, so we're here at the end of 20 minutes. Let me give you your 3 5-minute feng shui tips for this episode. Number 1, change your view and change your life. Make sure that if you are not in a happy position in your life, if you feel like you're stuck and you can't move and that you're just seeing life is one continuous trudge down a very long rut, a quick way to get out of that rut is to take down every picture in your house and put it in completely new places. What that does is it forces you to see your house again. It forces you to see pictures again and to see in a new way. And it's like creating a completely new change for your home. And it's amazing how that ripple goes out into your life. So change your view, change your life. Swap out all the pictures in your house if you're ready to get unstuck and make a big change. Second, are your images uplifting? Even if it's something that someone gave to you, it was an important thing because someone painted it or someone you love gave it to you or you painted it. If it's not, ask a friend what they see. Ask someone that will give you an honest opinion. Because if that image isn't uplifting, like that awful image of the woman cutting her heart out at the front door, no less, then it's not gonna do you any good. So make sure that any image that you have in your house is something that you love and that inspires you and that makes your home look beautiful. Number 3, add artwork that represents your ambitions. So if you want to live in Hawaii, gosh, get some pictures of Hawaii up on your walls. Amazing what that it can do when your eye starts seeing it and your heart makes that connection and the wheels in the universe start turning and your actions can also start changing and you start seeing more things about maybe a job opportunity in Hawaii or something will come up. So make sure that your artwork represents things that you aspire to, because that will help pull you along in life and bring new things to you and things that you want and things that you enjoy. All right, well, I hope today has been an interesting and enlightening episode of 5-Minute Feng Shui. I'll talk to you on the next episode. Thanks for listening today to 5-Minute Feng Shui. Be sure to join me on Facebook at facebook.com/Feng Shui Katie. And if you're really ready to move ahead quickly, head over to redlotusletter.com and sign up for my free 4-week e-course, 28 Days to Prosperity. You'll get daily lessons and tips on how to get unstuck and create financial flow in your life. Make it a fantastic day.